This is the complete guide to the IGNOU BBA project for BMPP-001. Here is the direct answer first. BMPP-001 is an 8-credit project course in the 5th semester of the IGNOU BBA program. And it is the one course where you do your own business research instead of sitting an examination. So what exactly is BMPP-001? It is a single course inside the Bachelor of Business Administration degree offered by the School of Management Studies. It is not the degree itself, and it is not an assignment. It asks you to study a real business problem and submit a written project report that IGNOU evaluates. Think of it as the difference between answering a question someone else wrote and asking your own. Every other course in the BBA hands you a syllabus and an examination. This one hands you a blank page and expects a defensible piece of work at the end of it. Here are the numbers that matter, and every one of them comes from the official BMPP-001 guidelines. 8 credits, 5th semester of the BBA, a report of about 60 to 80 double-space typed pages, and no study material at all because IGNOU provides no additional book for this course. That last point surprises most students. For BMPP-001, the guidelines say plainly that no additional study material is provided. There is no book arriving in the post. The project guidelines document is your entire material, and this video walks through it in order. That single line also tells you something useful. Because there is no course book, IGNOU is not testing recall here. It is testing whether you can run a small piece of business research properly from start to finish. First, the code traps. 4 codes get mixed up constantly. BMPP-001 is the project. BMP-001 is business research, a theory course sitting inside the same BBA. BMPP-01, with 2 digits, is simply a wrong form that circulates online. And MMPP-001 is the MBA project, a completely different program. The confusion is not harmless. Students have filled examination forms against a theory course, waited a whole session, and then discovered their project was never registered for evaluation at all. One letter changes everything. If you write BMP-001 on your envelope or on your examination form, you are naming a theory course, not your project. Write it exactly as BMPP-001, every single time. The same care applies to the way you write it on paper. The guidelines ask you to write the code prominently on the envelope, and a clerk sorting hundreds of envelopes reads exactly what is written, not what you meant. Not every IGNOU BBA does this project. IGNOU runs more than one BBA. The general BBA in open and distance learning mode is the one with BMPP-001. BBARIL, the BBA in retailing, runs on internships, workbooks and Viva with codes such as BRLP-101. And BBASM, the Services Management BBA offered with MKCL, is a work-based program with its own structure. This matters because most search results treat all 3 as one program. If you follow retail internship advice while you are enrolled in the general BBA, you will prepare the wrong document entirely. So before anything else, check your own program code on your admission record. If it says BBA BMPP-001 is yours. If it says BBARIL or BBASM, this project course does not apply to you, and your requirements are different. Now the 8-step life cycle. Here is the whole journey. Choose your subject area. Find an eligible guide. Finalize the topic with that guide. Prepare the synopsis. Submit the synopsis with the Proforma and the guide's biodata to your regional center. Wait for written approval. Do the study and write the report. Bind it and send it to the registrar. Read that list once more as a calendar rather than a checklist. Steps 1 to 5 are yours to control. Step 6 is not, and that is the step that decides whether you finish on time. Notice where that begins. The official guidelines advise you to start preparing the BMPP-001 synopsis from the 4th semester onwards. The project sits in semester 5, but approval alone can take 2 to 3 months. So students who start in semester 5 almost always run late. So work backwards. If you want the result in a particular term and session, count 3 months for approval, then the weeks you will need for field work, then the weeks for writing and binding. That arithmetic usually lands you in semester 4. Now, choosing a topic that survives evaluation. IGNOU names the preferred areas for BMPP-001: marketing, finance, human resource, international business, and accounting and taxation, along with other related and emerging areas. Pick a subject area first, then narrow to a topic inside it. 6 rules keep a BBA topic approvable. Keep it narrow enough to finish. Make sure the data exists and you can reach it. Anchor it to a real place, sector, or organization. Keep it measurable. Keep it business-related, not general social commentary. And let the title itself say what the study covers. Most rejected topics fail on Rule 2 rather than Rule 1. Students pick a subject they find interesting and only afterwards discover that the organization will not share data or that the respondents cannot be reached. Let me carry one example through the whole video. A study of customer retention in neighborhood kirana stores after the entry of quick commerce apps in Indore, Madhya Pradesh. It is small, local, current, and the data can be collected by one student in a few weeks. Notice why it works. Quick commerce is a change students can see happening around them. Kirana stores are willing respondents, and retention is something you can actually measure with a short questionnaire. Compare that with a weak version. A study on retail marketing in India has no place, no population, no measurable variable, and no boundary. The strong version names the unit of study, the change being examined, and the city. Evaluators approve boundaries, not ambition. The guidelines say the title should communicate the main theme and convey the subject matter being covered. Treat the title as a promise. What you study, who you study, and where. One more thing about the title, and it matters more than students expect. The final project report must carry the title approved by the evaluator. You cannot improve the wording later. Whatever is approved is what you write. There is a practical reason for that rule. Your synopsis was approved as a package. The title, the objectives, and the method all together. Change the title and the approved package no longer matches the report in front of the examiner. Next, the 3 permitted study types. IGNOU permits exactly 3 kinds of BMPP-001 study. A survey-based field study which is empirical. A comprehensive case study covering a single organization or a multifunctional area, with problem formulation, analysis, and recommendations. Or an inter-organizational study comparing organizations or testing management practices. What is not on that list matters just as much. A pure literature compilation, a copied company profile, or a general essay does not fit any of the 3 categories. If your plan has no data of your own, rework it before you write the synopsis. If you are unsure which category you fall into, ask yourself one question. What data will exist at the end of this study that did not exist before I began? If the answer is nothing, the plan needs rebuilding. Our indoor example is a survey-based field study. Kirana owners answer a structured questionnaire about footfall, repeat customers and the changes they made after quick commerce apps arrived. That is empirical, it is bounded, and it maps cleanly to Category 1. Now the guide. The guidelines list 5 categories of eligible guide. Commerce and Management faculty of the School of Management Studies at headquarters. Approved academic counselors of the BBA, BCom, MCom or MBA programs with at least 5 years of experience. Commerce or Management faculty with 5 years of teaching. Professionals such as CA, CS, ICWA, or engineers with 5 years of experience. And MCom or MBA holders with 5 years of professional experience. 2 practical points. Your guide need not be an IGNOU counselor and need not sit in your city, but they must fall clearly into one of these categories, and the biodata must prove it on paper. 2 limits go with that. A guide should hold no more than 5 BMPP-001 students at any one time, and the biodata must be signed in original with a date. IGNOU also asks guides to stay within their own subject area. The biodata is not a casual CV. It must carry the guide's name and date of birth, full residential and workplace address with contact numbers, detailed qualifications with university and year and percentage, work experience in chronological order with organization addresses, and anything else relevant to eligibility. Evaluators read the biodata to check eligibility, not to admire the guide. Vague entries such as more than 5 years of experience, with no dates and no organization names are the reason many otherwise good proposals come back. And here is the sentence that ends most proposals early. If the signed Proforma and the signed biodata are not enclosed, the synopsis will not be entertained, not delayed, not returned with comments, not entertained. Now we build the synopsis itself. The IGNOU BBA synopsis has 7 required sections. Introduction, rationale, literature review, objectives, research methodology, implications of the study, and limitations, if any. Anything you add beyond these is optional. Anything you drop is a gap the evaluator will see. The introduction gives brief background on the subject you chose. The rationale answers a different question. Why this topic now, and why it is worth studying? Keep the 2 separate. Students who merge them usually lose the rationale entirely. A simple test separates them. If the sentence would still be true in a textbook, it belongs in the introduction. If it is about your choice, your context, or your reason, it belongs in the rationale. The literature review at BBA level is not a thesis chapter. Review the existing studies related to your topic, show what has already been found, and point to the gap your study fills. A focused review of relevant work reads far better than a long list of unrelated titles. 5 to 8 relevant studies, each summarized in 2 or 3 lines with a clear link to your own question, is far stronger at this level than 20 entries copied from a search page. Now the objectives, which the guidelines call the most important aspect of any project. For the indoor study, to examine the change in repeat customer footfall after quick commerce entry, to analyze the factors affecting customer retention in Kirana stores, to explore the responses adopted by store owners, and to investigate the influence of home delivery on purchase frequency. See how each one attaches to something measurable. Footfall, retention factors, owner responses, purchase frequency. An objective you cannot measure is an objective you cannot report on later. Notice the verbs. The guidelines themselves give sample stems. To examine, to explore, to analyze the factors affecting, to investigate the influence. They also insist objectives be stated in neutral terms without assuming what you will find. Write 4 or 5, not 12. Research methodology in the synopsis needs 6 things: the research design, the nature and source of the data, the sample and sampling technique with a reason for both, the tools and techniques for data collection and how they relate to the objectives, the method of collection, and the data handling, analysis, and statistical tools you will use. The phrase to hold on to is relevance to the objectives. The guidelines mention it twice, for the tools, and again for the statistical methods. Every method you name should trace back to a specific objective. For our example that becomes concrete: descriptive design. Primary data from Kirana owners plus secondary data from published retail reports. A purposive sample of about 80 stores across 4 indoor localities. A structured questionnaire linked objective by objective. And percentage, mean and cross-tabulation analysis. The last 2 sections are short but required. Implications of the study says who benefits from your findings, such as small retailers, distributors, or local trade bodies. Limitation states honestly what your study cannot cover, such as a single city, a short period, or self-reported data. Both sections also protect you at evaluation. A limitation you declared yourself reads as academic honesty, while the same limitation discovered by an examiner reads as an oversight. Keep the synopsis proportionate. It is a plan, not a first draft of the report. Every claim in it should be something you can actually deliver in the study. Now the Proforma, field by field. The Proforma for approval of project proposal asks for your enrollment number, study center, regional center, subject area, name and full postal address, email, topic of the project, name and address of the supervisor, whether the supervisor is an IGNOU academic counselor with the study center code, and the number of students being guided. Both signatures with dates. One field quietly destroys projects. If your maximum duration of 6 years is over, you need readmission before sending the synopsis. And if your synopsis was approved on an earlier enrollment number, approval must be taken again on the new number. Skip that, and the project report may not be accepted. This is worth checking today rather than at submission time. Enrollment numbers change on readmission, and an approval attached to an old number is treated as no approval at all. The subject area field must match your topic. The guidelines give the options. If the project is on financial performance, the subject area is finance. Otherwise, it may be HRM and OB, accounting and finance, operations management and information system, marketing, corporate management, or any other area you specify. For the indoor Kirana study, the subject area is marketing. Small mismatches here confuse the evaluator about which panel should read your proposal, and confusion is the slowest way to get an approval. Now submitting the synopsis. 3 things travel together. The filled proforma, signed and dated by you and your guide. The synopsis itself. And the guide's detailed biodata, signed in original with a date. Send 1 copy and keep 1 copy with you. The synopsis goes to the regional director of your own regional center. Not to headquarters. You may hand it in, send it by registered post or courier, and online mode students may submit the soft copy through the LMS portal. Write BMPP-001 prominently on the envelope. The reason for the split is simply how IGNOU works. Synopsis evaluation is decentralized to the regional centers, while final project evaluation sits with the Student Evaluation Division at headquarters. After that, The regional center allots a project proposal number, and written communication about approval or non-approval reaches you within 2 to 3 months of receipt. Use that PP number for every follow-up. Understand who approves. Your guide signing the Proforma is a prerequisite, not the approval. The synopsis is evaluated by an empaneled evaluator at the regional center, and only that written communication counts as approval. It also means that a guide who says the topic is fine has not approved anything. Wait for the letter and do not begin fieldwork on the strength of a verbal go-ahead. Now, non-approval and resubmission. If the synopsis is not approved, the evaluator's comments come back to you. Your resubmission then needs 4 things: the revised synopsis, a fresh proforma, a copy of the rejected synopsis carrying those comments, and the PP number allotted earlier. Treat the evaluator comments as a specification rather than criticism. Most non-approvals point at one fixable thing: an objective that cannot be measured, a method that does not match, or a topic that is simply too wide. Changing your guide is not a small edit. If the proposed guide is not approved, or if you want to change guides for any reason, you submit the proposal again with the new guide signature on a new proforma, and it is treated as a new proposal. Now, writing the project report. The report structure is fixed: introduction, review of literature, research methodology, results and discussion, summary and conclusion, recommendations, implications, limitations and directions for further research, which is optional, references in APA style, and annexures, including the questionnaire you used. That order is not a suggestion. Examiners look for these headings, and a report that reorganizes them into its own scheme makes the examiner hunt for the methodology and the findings. Length is stated in pages, not words. About 60 to 80 double-spaced typed pages with rational variation permitted on either side. Page counts you see elsewhere, and word counts of every size, are not from the BMPP-001 guidelines. Applied to our example, results and discussion is where the marks live. Present the retention figures in tables and charts, interpret each one against the objective it answers, and let the recommendations follow from the data rather than from opinion. One rule ties the whole report together. Every objective you stated must reappear in the analysis, in the findings, and in the conclusion. An objective that disappears halfway is the most common weakness evaluators note. Now, binding, fees, and submission. Before binding, check 6 things: cover page with your name, enrollment number, guide's name, and the title. A detailed table of contents with page numbers. All pages numbered. The approved proposal, proforma, and guide biodata bound in. The certificate of originality signed by you and your guide with dates. And the project evaluation fee receipt. The guidelines are blunt about one of those. A project with a stapled proposal will not be accepted. Bind the approved proposal into the volume. If any of those documents is missing, the report is returned to you for compliance. Keep the fee receipt safe as well. The checklist names it explicitly, and a report arriving without proof of the evaluation fee is incomplete in exactly the same way as one missing a signature. 2 amounts get confused constantly. The project evaluation fee is paid by you with your term-end examination form, and for a project above 4 credits it is rupees 500, so BMPP-001 at 8 credits falls in that slab. The rupees 300 remuneration bill is your guide's claim for guidance, submitted in a separate envelope and never inserted inside the report. So the practical sequence is: Pay the evaluation fee online when you fill the term-end examination form, print the receipt, bind it into the report, and put the guide's remuneration bill in its own envelope alongside. The report itself goes somewhere different from the synopsis. One typed copy, A4 size double-spaced in a bound volume, to the Registrar, Student Evaluation Division, IGNOU, Maidan Garhi, New Delhi 10068. Mark the envelope, Project Report B-M-P-P-001. Retain the postal receipt. Once the report reaches the Student Evaluation Division, a project report number is allotted, and that number is what you quote in every follow-up about status or result. On timing, the guidelines say the report may be submitted any time throughout the year. Submit between the 1st of December and the 31st of May, and the result is declared with the June term-end examinations. Submit between the 1st of June and the 30th of November, and it comes with December. Recent sessions also run an online submission portal with its own cutoff, so follow the current notice on the IGNOU website. 2 things I will not invent for you. The BMPP-001 guidelines state no pass percentage, and they mention no Viva for this course. Pages quoting 35, 40 or 50%, or a compulsory BBA Viva, are borrowing from other programs. Confirm both with your regional center. This is deliberate. Guessing a number would be easy and would probably match what other sites say. But a figure that is not in the official document is not a fact, and you deserve to know the difference. So is BMPP-001 actually worth the effort? Yes, and not only for the 8 credits. It is the one place in the BBA where you handle a real question end-to-end. Framing it, collecting data, analyzing it, and defending a recommendation. That is precisely the skill and entry-level role in marketing, finance, human resources or operations asks for on day 1. It also carries forward. A clean report gives you something concrete to discuss in interviews, working knowledge of research design before you reach an MBA, familiarity with APA referencing, evidence of independent work, a local business network from your fieldwork, and a topic you can extend later at postgraduate level. None of that is a placement promise, and it should not be read as one. It is simply what a piece of documented independent work does for you when you are competing against candidates who have none. 2 questions students ask most. Can I submit the report before the synopsis is approved? No. The guidelines say project work may be taken up only after written approval. Is there a book for BMPP-001? No. The guidelines state that no additional study material is provided. 2 more. How long should the report be? About 60 to 80 double-spaced typed pages. And where does it go? The synopsis to your regional director, the report to the registrar, Student Evaluation Division at Maidan Garhi. 2 different addresses and mixing them costs weeks. Quick recap. BMPP-001 is an 8-credit semester 5 project. Start the synopsis in semester 4. Get an eligible guide and their signed biodata. Get written approval first. Keep the approved title. Write 60 to 80 pages. Bind the proposal in. Pay ₹500 with the exam form. Synopsis to the regional center. Report to the registrar. For the deeper pieces, we have separate videos. Write in an IGNOU synopsis, step by step. Choosing project topics, the universal project format, guide selection and project submission. All are linked below. Free samples, formats and full guides are on ignouproject.com, and for personal help on your BBA project, message us on WhatsApp. I am BK Sani, guiding IGNOU students since 2010. Subscribe for the rest of the series.